Well, it is Thanksgiving and I am here in my parents' basement recording a Minecraft tutorial. What fun. Anyways, today I am going to be showing you how to convert custom blocks to GeyserMC for your Minecraft server. Before we begin, make sure you have custom blocks set up and working for Minecraft Java Edition. If not, then why are you even watching this video? But don't worry, I will be showing you how to set up the custom blocks for Java Edition as well. There are 3 different examples. One is just a really simple block. One has a different texture on each 6 sides, and there's another that is animated, and I'm going to be showing you how to convert all 3. Is that what turkeys make? I don't know. Let's gobble gobble. Gobble gobble. I am going to be using ItemsAdder for this video, but you technically do not need a plugin. This will also work with a plugin like a Ruxor if you still use that garbage, or just a vanilla resource pack. So essentially how this works is by using note block states. If you've never made one of those crazy note block contraptions before, then there are different instruments and different notes for note blocks. We can apply a texture to a certain instrument with a certain note. There are over 750 combinations, so you shouldn't need to worry about running out of custom blocks anytime soon. I'm not going to lie, this stuff is kind of complex. Maybe that's why there are no other people that have been dumb enough to make a video on this. But if this does not work for you or you need help with this, then please do not use the comments for support. I mean, how am I supposed to help you if all you say is not working? Instead, you are welcome to join my Discord server and create a post on the support forum, and I or a community member will help you out shortly. But keep in mind that I'm only human. I'm only human. And so you may be on your own if you're trying to do something super complex that I don't know how to do. Well, this was absolutely the longest intro ever, so go grab your popcorn and let's get crafting. Okay, so the first thing that we need to do is actually get blocks working for Java Edition. So to do that, I am going to be using ItemsAdder. So inside of our plugins folder, we have ItemsAdder. Make sure you already have ItemsAdder set up. You can watch my ItemsAdder tutorial, and you may also want to watch my Geyser tutorial if you don't have Geyser set up already. You probably already should have that though. So what we will want to do is go into the contents folder, and I have made some tutorial files, so you can just go ahead and download that, and then you will just want to go ahead and you can extract that. I would definitely recommend to have WinRAR. It's a very helpful software. And inside of here, you will see an ItemsAdder folder, and then this example underscore block.zip. We want to go ahead and upload this into our contents folder. I already zipped it up for you. It's the same thing as the folder. So then we will unarchive that, and then we can go ahead and type IA reload and then IA zip. And while that applies to me, I'm just going to show you how it basically works for Java Edition. We're not going to go into like too many specifics. Okay, so here in the blocks.yml, we can see here's just like a configuration for a very simple block. So it basically uses the real note type of block. There are different types of block, but we're going to be using a real note, like I said in the beginning. And then we can also change the different particles to a different vanilla block. And then we can also whitelist certain tools to break it. So like ores, if you want to only break them with pickaxes, then you can do that right here. And then if we scroll down a little bit, we can see here's the Croix block. So all these different directions are how you put different textures on different sides of the block. So the down is going to be on the bottom, and the up is going to be on the top, and then the different ones are going to be on the sides. And then they also have some specific properties. The reason that you can only break it with a hoe is because I get a lot of hoes. And then right here we have the trick ore. So this is basically the same thing as the Andesite Bricks, but it is animated. It doesn't look like that, but we'll see that in a second. So then if we go into the resource pack, go into the assets, go into here, we can see that for the trick ore, there is this MC meta file. So in here is basically how it tells to do the different frames and the different times. So this is in ticks. So this is the first frame, and then it goes down to the second frame, third frame. I know it's like starts at 0, but that's just like the way computers work. I don't know. And then interpolate, this basically means to like blend the frames instead of just like one to the next one, to the next one, to the next one. It just like kind of smoothly goes. So that's nice. And then if we actually look at this trickOre.png, we'll see that it's like multiple textures stacked on top of each other. So this would be frame 0, frame 1, frame 2, and frame 3. I'm not going to be showing you how to make those textures. You can just go into like Photopea and put a whole bunch of textures and stuff. That should be pretty easy. All right, now we can go into Minecraft and we can check out our blocks. All right, so in Minecraft, we can go ahead and type /IA and we can see all of our different example blocks. So I'm just going to grab each of these. So right here is the Croix block. This is the one with textures on each side of it. There's even one on the bottom of it as well that we can see. So there we go. And then here's just the simple andesite bricks. It's just the same texture on every single side. It's about the same as a stone brick, actually. Look, it's like pretty much the exact same thing. And then right here we have the trick ore, so it's just like a bunch of different textures going back and forth. It looks kind of cool though. So the thing about these is they are note blocks. They don't look like note blocks, but they actually are. So we can like play them. They won't make any sounds though. ItemsAdder cancels that. So now you probably want to actually convert these to Bedrock because that's what the whole point of the video is, right? So to do that, what we need to do is download the Ofunny's Bedrock examples. So all credit goes to the guy named Ofunny for making this. Is this him right here? I just want to say a huge thank you to this guy because if not for that, this video would not be possible. I would have no idea how to do this. But yeah, we're going to take a look at a couple other ones first because I want to show you some of these. So like right here, we have Force Classic UI menus. So this basically for a Bedrock edition on mobile, it will make it so like the different chest inventories will look different. You don't care about any of this stuff, but it's kind of cool. And then the arm attack swing fix, this one basically uses like trigonomic functions to sort of make it look like the models are better when they swing. And also like no red numbers scoreboard, so you can basically just get rid of the red numbers on the scoreboard for Bedrock edition. And one more is the chest background example. So if you want to do like some custom menus, you could use this. I'm eventually going to be making a video on custom menus, but I just wanted to show this. So anyways, now that I showed you some stuff that you do not care about, let's take a look at the stuff you do care about. The generic block. So right here is all the information on how you use it. But to actually download all this stuff, you have to download everything. So let's just go ahead and go back to the main page, and this code button, you'll just want to download zip. So this is going to download everything. And then we can go into the folder right here, and let's just go ahead and we are going to extract here. And then inside of here, we have all this stuff. You don't have to worry about any of this stuff unless you want to install it because it is some nice stuff. But like the generic block right here, this is what we really care about. So first we're going to work on the andesite block because it is the easiest and it's also the one that is provided for us. So we can look and see inside of the textures, we have the item textures. So let's just take a look at all this stuff. And so we can see that it's basically this is basically what the converter does for you automatically, but for this video we are going to be doing this stuff by hand manually, so that way you kind of get an idea of how it works. The items for placing the blocks are paper, so they will actually work if you run them through the converter. You'll just need to change a couple things. But yeah, you're actually safe to merge your blocks pack with your main pack, so I just wanted to mention that. And here we go, this basically is the sprite for in the inventory. This is the different texture. And then the terrain texture. So this is the texture for the andesite bricks. So that's good. We'll come back to all this stuff later when we actually add a block. And then inside of here, we can see our andesite bricks texture. And then in the sprites, we can see basically like a little inventory render of this because once again, Bedrock cannot display a 3D icon or like model in the inventory, so that's why we have to generate sprites for it. And then we also have the models. So right here we have just a generic cube model. So if I go ahead and open up Blockbench, I'll just show you how this works. So it's basically just a little square or cube. Yep, that's all it is. And then we also need an attachable for it. So this is for the inventory because the block is actually separate from the item in your inventory and like in your hand. So that's what this is for. This basically tells Minecraft Bedrock that basically how to display it, like the model in your arm and stuff. So that's all good and nice. And then inside of here we have animations for basically displaying the block. And yeah, that's pretty much all. So now let's just go ahead and turn this stuff into a resource pack. But to do that, we need a little bit of a manifest.json. So I have actually provided one for you in the tutorial files. So I'm just going to paste this into here. You don't need to tweak this at all yet. So what we can do is just go ahead and select this and then select this, this, and this. You can just hold down the control key on your keyboard, and then we will want to right click and compress it to a zip file. And here we go. We will want to rename that to Geyser_resources. That's what I always rename it to. You can rename it to whatever you want. And then we will go ahead and go back to our server, go into the Geyser Spigot folder, go into the packs folder, and we will want to drag that in. Now, if you remember from the Geyser custom model data video, we're not done yet. We need to do the mappings. So that is why these two different mappings have been given to us. So this is for items and this is for the block. So let's just go ahead and select these, and then we will go into our custom mappings folder and drag these into here. So now what I'm going to do is we need to get the note block data for the andesite bricks. So to do that, here I have the andesite bricks right here. You can push F3, and then right over here, am I covering it? I think I might be covering it. Wait. Yeah, like right up there is where you have your note block data. So we can see that it is a bass drum, it is note 0, and it is powered false. So now let's just go ahead and head back into the block mappings, and we shouldn't need to edit any of this except for the instrument. So we will change that to bass drum, and then we will change the note to 0, and powered state is false, so that is good. And that is actually all we need to change for now. But now we need to go into the items mappings, or whatever it is, and we need to get the custom model data for the item. So like I said, this item right here is actually paper. So we can type the command /ia custom model data andesite bricks. And right here we can see that the custom model data is 10007. So we want to head back into here, and then we can change that right there. And then we can go ahead and restart our server. And we will join on Bedrock Edition now. Okay, so now to join on Bedrock Edition, you can just obviously join the server. You should know how to do that already. If not, then I worry about you. So we will be prompted to download the pack when we join the server. And here we go. Here are our andesite bricks right there. So now we can go ahead and grab that and place it down. And yeah, we have our andesite bricks now. Now you're probably wondering, how do we do all like the fancy stuff, like with the 6-sided block and with the animated textures? So we're going to start with the 6-sided block. So to do that, what we need to do is, oh shoot, this is like really complex. Okay. This is going to be really hard. I'm going to try to do this the best I can, but I can't guarantee it's going to work. So the first thing that we need to do is go back into our pack right here. So right here in our pack, I'm just going to go ahead and delete all 4 of these. We're done with them. So the first thing that we want to do is make the block, and then we'll worry about like the item or the model in the arm later. So right here in the terrain texture.json, I'm just going to go ahead and put in all 6 of the different textures. Keep in mind that you can also do this if you just have like 4 textures on the item, or just like 2 different textures. So, but this is basically the same process for that. I'm just doing it with 1 block on each side, or 1 different texture on each side. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy these, and we're going to call this Croix_up. And then inside of the blocks folder, we will make another folder called Croix, and then we'll just put texture name as up. And then with JSON, remember that we need to put like a comma after this. And then we're just going to basically just chug along. There we go. And now make sure that we don't have any errors, so we can see that since that comma is at the end, we want to delete that. And there we go. We are done with that. Now we need to make sure that we put our textures in this exact location that we specified. So if we go into here, go into the blocks, then we need to create a new folder, and we'll just call it Croix. And then inside of there is where we need to put all of the textures. So I have actually provided all of them for you in here. So we can just go ahead and copy these into here. Okay, now we need to basically make the mapping for it. So to do that, what we will want to do is go into Geyser Spigot, and we want to go into the custom mappings, and then we will basically want to copy this block mappings.json, and I'm going to rename this to Croix_block. Doesn't really matter what you name it. You can have multiple mappings files, by the way, so just keep that in mind. So we are going to basically call this Croix_block, and then we will leave the geometry the same, leave these 3 settings the same. And then for the bass drum, node 0 powered false, we can go ahead and join our server again and get the note block data for the Croix block. Okay, so here we have the Croix block right here. We can press F3 and see that it's bass drum and then note 1 and powered false. So we can go ahead and change the note to 1. There's actually really no way with ItemsAdder to figure that out. You just kind of have to check it manually in game. And then we want to change the name to Croix block, and then we can change the display name if you want. This really doesn't matter. And now the material instances. So you see this star, that basically means that every single side is going to have that same texture. But since we don't want that, we need to change that to the different direction. So we will change the first one to up, and then these are like these 2 curly brackets right here. So we can just go ahead and copy all of that and put a comma after it. And we are just going to paste that in 6 times. Don't forget the commas. That's super important because punctuation is important. Otherwise, Jason's going to yell at you and it's not going to work, and your life will be a living nightmare, just like mine. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We need 1 more. Okay, so for up, we will want to change the texture to Croix_up. This is basically what we defined in that terrain textures. And then you don't need to change the other 3 settings. And then we want to change this one to down. These are the exact same directions as before. Change this texture to Croix_down. And then we will want to do our other 4 directions. Okay, so I messed up. So that's one example of why you should always check your work, because I put it as Croix West in there, and it's just supposed to be west, east, north, and then south. And then we want to change that. And there we go. So this file should be good. Let's just make sure everything looks right. Yep, that is all good. So now we are done with the Croix block right here. And now we need to basically make the texture for in-game. So to do that, what we need to do is actually use Blockbench. So we are going to go back into here, and we will want to find the models folder. And inside of here, there should be the Ofunny generic cube. We're just going to copy this, and we will name this Croix_block_item. It's very important that you name the item something different than the actual block itself. This is because otherwise they're going to like conflict with each other. So we will copy that. And now I'm going to open up Blockbench. If you don't have Blockbench, you should really get it. It's very helpful for, it's kind of imperative that you have this for doing custom stuff like this. So I'm just going to go ahead and drag this in, and it's just this block. So what we need to do is actually grab all of our textures, and we want to drag them into here. And we will just want to import all of these different textures. So right off the bat, it's going to put 1 on each different side. But what we want to do is actually select all of these and then stitch all textures, change the padding to 0. Then we can confirm. Now it's going to look like really bad right off the gate. But when we will click on this, we can basically, here are all of our different directions. And what we will want to do is change the texture for each side. So to do that, you can like drag this, and you can actually make it precise down here. All these images are 128 by 128. So we will want to change that to 128 and then that to 128. And then we can see it's perfect right there. And then for east, we will want the next texture. So make sure these are 128 by 128. And then we can just move it right over there. Perfect. And now for south, same thing. But this time we will want this one, and to make sure it's precise, we will want it to be a 128 and then 128. And there we go. Don't ask what those are. You can kind of tell what they are, but don't ask. And then for the west texture, we will want to make sure that is 128 by 128. And we'll want it to be me as a cowboy. And now we just have these two textures left. So up is going to be 128 by 128. There we go. And then down. There we go. And then perfect. So there we go. We have the block for the arm done. What we want to do now is save it. So this will save the stitch texture into, well, I'll want to go into my folder. So textures, Ofunny, blocks, Croix, and then we will just save it here as stitch texture, and then Croix block item has been saved. Now, there's one very important thing that you have to do to this, otherwise it's not going to look right. You need to open up Ofunny's generic cube, and you see this line about binding. Go ahead and copy that. When you throw it into Blockbench, it gets rid of that. So we need to put that like right here. That's really important, otherwise it's not going to look right. And then while we're here, we also want to make sure we change the identifier to geo_Croix underscore block underscore item, and then we can go ahead and save that. Now that we have done that, we need to go into the animations and this animation Ofunny generic cube, copy that, and we will change that to animation and then Croix underscore block underscore item. And inside of here, we will just want to replace the Ofunny generic cube with Croix underscore block underscore item. There we go. Save that. And also, if you see this error, it's because of this comment up here. It's not actually going to cause any errors. You can leave it or you can get rid of it. But don't get rid of it because Ofunny's a great guy. Even though I've never met him, but he's a great guy. And now finally, we need to do the attachable. So inside of here, we will have the Ofunny, and we need to copy and paste this. Get rid of the copy and change the name of it to Croix underscore block underscore item. And then we want to open that up. And you'll see all these settings and you're like,
what the heck is going on here?
Don't worry, it's not that hard. So we will want to first change the identifier to Croix underscore block underscore item. Oh my gosh, I can't spell. And then we want to change the texture of it to our stitch texture. I'm just going to go ahead and try to find that because I want to make sure I spell it right. Because if I don't spell it right, then it's going to cause that purple black texture thing. So right there, just copy that. And then we want that to be inside of the Croix folder. There we go. And now you're probably like, I'm done.
No, you're not.
You have to change the geometry to that other model that we just made. So that's going to be geo Croix underscore block underscore item. And then finally these animations. So we will just want to replace Ofunny underscore generic underscore cube with Croix underscore block underscore item. And there we go. And also to like search, it's just Control F. So, and you like click that little arrow and then it'll open this up and you can replace. Visual Studio Code is awesome. If you don't have it, you're missing out. There we go. If anybody tells you to use Notepad++, they should die, okay? Visual Studio Code is way better than Notepad++. I'm not messing around anymore. Okay, now that we have done all that, there's one more thing we need to do, and that is the sprite for in the Bedrock inventory. So to do that, what we need to do is go into the textures folder, and then the item texture.json, and we will basically want to copy this, and then add a comma after it, and then paste that in and change that to Croix underscore block underscore item, and then the sprites blocks, and then we will make it named Croix underscore block underscore item. Save that with Control S. We can close out of that. And now we actually need to make that item. So if you've been examining my tabs that I have open, you'll see this website. So this basically allows you to take a picture of the different textures in like this kind of orthographic looking way. So what we can do is actually choose files. So we can go into here and I have all the different pictures. So we'll just put this one on the top. We will put this one right here. And then we'll put this one right here. And then we will want to render image. So you do have to render this as 512 because this website's kind of dumb. If we change it to 32, it's not going to work. And if we change it to like 256, it's not going to work as well. So you have to do 512. And then you need to save that image. So then you have to go over to photopea.com and we will want to create a 64 by 64 image. Because for some reason, Bedrock does not like 512. It's just like too big and it won't display. So we can drag this picture in. I'm also kind of going fast because I hope you already know how to do this stuff from the Geyser custom model data video. So, and also it would just like take hours if I didn't go fast. So this kind of looks a little bit low quality, but keep in mind that it's going to be displayed at a very small scale. So it'll look fine. Then we will want to export as a PNG, and I'm just going to save this. So here we go. We have our new project. So there we go. I'm just going to go ahead and Control X to cut that. Go back into here, go back into here, go into here, go into here, go into here, go into here. Then we can paste that in and rename it to Croix underscore block underscore item. So if we recall from the item textures, no, not terrain textures. So from the item textures, it basically said that inside of the sprites folder, inside of the blocks folder, there should be a file named Croix underscore block underscore item. So we're all good. That's exactly how I had it set up. So we just want to double check. So now we need to tell Geyser which paper with which custom model data to basically assign this texture to. So to do that, what we need to do is go in game and we will want to type /ia custom model data, Croix block, and we can see that it is paper with custom model data 10008. This is probably going to be different for you. So don't just use my custom model data unless that is exactly what yours is. So right here, we will want to go into the item mappings. We don't need to make a separate file just for this. And we can just go ahead and copy that and then make sure you put that comma afterwards. And then for the name, we will make it Croix underscore block underscore item. And then for the icon, we will want to make it Croix underscore block underscore item. And then for the custom model data, we will make that 10008. Control S to save. So then in here, we need to regenerate our UUID in the manifest.json because otherwise it's going to apply the same pack and all that stuff's not going to be there. It's not going to re-download it. So right here we have this UUID. We need to change this out. You don't actually need to change out the second UUID, but you do need to change out this one. So there is a Visual Studio Code add-on that I have for inserting a new UID. I'm going to talk about this in an upcoming video. But for now, there you go. You can also use the UUID generator website. So now that we have all this, I'm just going to compress this to a zip file and we will rename it to Geyser underscore resources.mc pack. Then we can go ahead, go into the files, go into the plugins, go into Geyser Spigot, go into packs, and then we will want to upload this, and that will replace our old one since it's the exact same name. And then we can go ahead and restart our server. Oh my gosh, that was a lot. Okay, if that didn't make sense, go back, rewatch it. Okay, so now let's just go ahead and join the server, and it'll prompt us to download the pack once again. And then once we are in, we can see we have the block and we can see that the block is working. If we go underneath, the texture is there. So yeah, and then we have it in the inventory. So that's pretty much it. So now you're probably like, How the heck do I do animated textures on blocks, CraftedCroix? Well, I'm glad you asked, because that's what I'm going to be showing you how to do next, whether you want to see it or not. So the first thing we need to do is like grab the texture for it. So if we go in here for our tutorial files and then the texture, we have the trick ore. That's the ore that's like has the different things, because it's kind of tricky since it has those different ores. I don't know, I'm tired. It's like 11 o'clock. I should not be doing it at this time. So inside of here, we will want to go into here, go into our blocks, go into here, and then we can just paste the trick ore in there. We don't need an MC meta file because the way Bedrock does it is a little bit different. It uses flipbook textures. Now, what are flipbook textures, you may ask? Well, it's basically this JSON file, and it like we paste it in textures. If I was a good YouTuber, I'd like show you how to like what all this stuff is. I'm not. I just want to get this over with, okay? Like, no offense, but I'm just trying to get this done. So right here, I already like prepared this for you. So we just need the path to our texture and then the atlas tile. That's like basically like the name of the texture, whatever. So basically inside of here, inside of blocks, we have our trick ore. So that's going to be Ofunny. How funny this is. And then inside of blocks, and then we have the trick underscore ore, and then the atlas tile name is just going to be trick underscore ore. There we go. And then the ticks per frame, so you can set it to 15, and then this is the blend frame, so that's basically going to make it look like it's kind of smooth in between. Otherwise, it's going to be like one frame to the next, to the next, to the next. I already discussed that. We're kind of like going in a loop. You can up the ticks per frame. Remember that there are 20 ticks in a second in Minecraft, so that should be fine. That's what it's set as for Java edition. So we are actually good on that. Now we just need to go into the item texture, and we want to make the item for it. So just copy this, make sure you put that comma, and we'll call this the trick underscore or item, and then the sprites, and it'll be trick underscore or item. And then for the terrain texture, we still have to add it to here, even though it's in the flipbook textures. I think maybe, I don't know, I haven't tested it without. If I was a good YouTuber, I would have done that, but I've already spent like all day worrying about this. So then we want to go into here and paste in, or say trick underscore or, and then textures Ofunny blocks trick underscore or, and then save that. And yeah, we're good on textures folder. So now we need to do the inventory item for the trick ore. So inside of here, we have the different sprites. So it's looking for trick underscore or underscore item. So we can actually use this block renderer thing again. So this actually has the ability to just use regular textures. So we can actually search through here and find those different textures. So I'm looking for diamond ore, and then we want like iron ore. There we go. And then we want, let's do redstone. So you can use custom item or pictures or not. And then we need to render it and save image as, and then we need to go to Photopea again, and then new project with 64 by 64, create, get rid of that background, do that, throw that in. That's good. Look at that. That looks perfect. So then export as PNG, and then trick underscore or underscore item. Save. Why did I attach metadata? I don't know. It doesn't matter. And then we just want to go into here, copy that, paste it in here, and now we're good. Okay, so now since the trickor.png is like this, we're unable to actually like use this for the attachables. So what I'm going to do is, you can go through like that whole process of like putting a texture on each side. I'm not going to do that right now because I don't feel like that. So we can just go ahead and drag this in to, I'll make a new 16 by 16. I'm just going to use like one texture for it. It's going to look like a regular block, but it's whatever. It's just an example. So just drag that in and dang it. There we go. And then I'm going to scale it. You can choose whichever one you want. Unfortunately, you can't make it like animated in the inventory because Bedrock is like unable to display animated items. Or I think it actually is, but it's like impossible to do and nobody knows how to do it except for like people that do commissions, and then they like don't give that knowledge to other people so that way like they can keep making money off of it. You see, I'm good because I'm actually like giving away this free information, so that way you can actually like do this for yourself and you don't have to pay people to do it. But I still actually do commissions, so if you want me to like commission, or like if you don't feel like doing this and you just want me to do it for you, then you can pay me to do it. So keep that in mind, because I mean, I need money. I'm a broke college student. So yeah, I got this one texture. We go file, export, PNG, and we'll just call this trick underscore or underscore block. Sure. And then we'll put it, dang it, I hate it when it does that. I can't stand it when it does that. Oh my gosh, it just disappears. There we go. Okay, I threw it in there now, see? Okay, so now for the attachables, we will want to go ahead and copy this one, the Andesite Bricks. Don't do the Croix block one because that uses a different model than this one. We just want to use the basic model. So we will want to get rid of this copy at the end, and then we will want to make this trick underscore or underscore icon or item. Yeah, I know what I'm doing. And then in here, then we will want to change this to trick underscore or underscore item. And then we will want to change this to that trick underscore or underscore block texture that we made. And that's all you have to change for this. Save that. And yeah, I think we're good on that. So now we can just go ahead and change out our manifest.json UUID once again. So you can use your UUID generator, or if you have the add-on for Visual Studio Code, you can just do that. And now we are good to zip up our pack, compress to zip file. So there we go, Geyser resources.mc pack. We'll just put a 1 after this. Resources. There we go. Don't worry, it's stable. I know what I'm doing, okay? I've done this like a million times before. A million times a day, actually. So we want to go into the plugins, go into Geyser Spigot, go into packs, and then, oh shoot, I lost the folder. There we go. I hate it when like you click on a window and then the window that's above you like disappears. I hate that because then I have to like go searching for it. There we go. So now we have that. And now we need to do our custom mappings once again. So you're actually unable to basically like do multiple blocks in one file. I spent like hours this summer just trying to figure out if you could do that. I had no luck. If you are able to do that, please let me know in the comments, because that would make life easier, but then that would also make the video obsolete and I have to do the exact same video over and over again. No, we're not making this video ever again. I'm just going to get this done right now and then I'll never have to do this again, okay? All right, so right here, we want to copy the Croix block, or you can copy the block mappings. That's probably going to be easier. And then we will just basically tell it, okay, this is the trick underscore or. And then we will basically just change out the name. This is important or it's going to screw up like everything. So trick or, keep it as Ofunny generic cube. And then we need to get the note block data for it. Oh my gosh, I have to join the server and then it'll send me that resource pack and it's just going to take hours and hours and hours. I'm losing my mind. I think I'm running out of time. I need a miracle, a miracle, a miracle. Okay, we're back in. We got our trick or right here. F3, you can see it's note block, bass drum, and note 2. So we can just go ahead and change that to a 2. Change the name to trick underscore or. Display name, trick or. And then the texture, this will be a trick or. Since it's the same texture on each side, we can leave it as star. We're good on that. Now we need to do the item mappings. So this is actually really important. You need to make sure that these are like going in ascending order. So 7, 8, and then we need 9 after that because, oh, dang it, I clicked disconnect. Oh my gosh, dude. Whew. This is why I don't do long tutorials like this. This takes forever. I just mess up everything. Oh my gosh. So yeah, if we do IA custom model data, trick or, we can see that it's paper 10009. So we'll just go ahead and copy this and make sure that you put a comma right there. It's going to screw everything up. And then we'll have the trick or item. Then we'll change the icon to trick underscore or item, and then the custom model data to 10009. And then we can save that. Phew. Okay, now that our server has restarted, we can go ahead and join it and hope and pray that this works. Let's hope. Okay, here we go. We can download and join. And there we go. So we can see that our block is working. It's animated and it's blending. And then we have the trick ore, which is basically just an iron block in our hand. And we have that texture that we made for it. Once again, you can do like the process that we did for this, but since I already showed you how to do that, I don't think I need to do that again. But yeah, that's pretty much how you convert custom blocks to Geyser. Wow, that was a lot. I got it done though. I'm proud of myself. I'm just going to one take this last part with no script, so thank you guys so much for watching. If this video was helpful for you, please be sure to like and subscribe. Even if it was, then still like. Don't dislike, please, okay? That will make the YouTube gods upset. But if you need help with this or it didn't work, then feel free to join my Discord server instead of leaving a comment, like I said in the beginning. And also, if you're looking for a way to maybe give back to the community for helping or whatever, then you can feel free to help other people in my Discord server, because I'm only one person. I can only help so many people, so that would also be really helpful. Thank you for that. And also, you can join both of my Minecraft servers. We may or may not have custom blocks by the time you're watching this video. I don't know anymore. So I'm just going to get out of here and you can go on with the rest of your day. So yeah, thank you and happy crafting.